Hi y'all, if you're coming catfishing with me today, grab your snacks, grab your poles, and let's go. We're doing an afternoon drift session, and we're gonna start kind of where I got on fish in the last video for you regular viewers, but we're gonna start where the bite kind of started for me, and we're gonna make our way on down river and try to work our way on down to that next river bend that you can maybe see down there. But this section of the river, we get on some fish, we're gonna have some fun, y'all, because it's shallow through here. Right now, we're 26 feet deep, and we're gonna be suspend fishing today. So when we drop our lines down vertical under us, we're probably gonna have out 23, 24 feet of line. So that's gonna make for some awesome takedowns, and it's gonna be especially awesome because today, I've got the light tackle rods with me. We're doing the light stuff. Doesn't mean we're gonna just catch small fish, but when we hook into something big on these, it's gonna be a battle, y'all. So come with me, let's have some fun. I'm gonna get y'all here in a chest while we get baited up right fast. We're gonna take a gizzard shad here. That's all the bait I got with me today is gizzard shad, but they're good and fresh. I got a bunch of them. So we're gonna do a head bait and a chunk here to start with. And I'm gonna show you the rigs. We're gonna drop them down and we're gonna get right to it, man. And then once I get these down here, I'm gonna try to film my graph where you can see the contour map, kind of see the map card and see what it is that, the type of area we're gonna be fishing today. The challenge with doing this here in the afternoon with the sun right above us on a bright sunny day is, is a big glare on that thing. But we're gonna try to make it work. But here's our rig, folks. That's the gizzard shad head there. This is a smaller hook. Again, we're using light tackle today, so that's a 3/0 size mosquito hook. I got 15-pound fluorocarbon up to a swivel, a little 2-ounce egg sinker, and then we're gonna drop this down here. These are ugly stick inshore rods. They are rated medium heavy. So when I say lighter tackle, it's, you know, these are still medium heavy action rods. However, they are significantly lighter action than my medium heavy catfish rods. So, and you'll see when we hook into some fish here, you'll see how these rods bend and just get buried into the water. It's awesome. So this rig here, exact same setup with the exception of the bait. And this one we've just got the chunk on. So I'm gonna drop it down. And when that sinker hits bottom, I'm just gonna reel the rod tip down to the surface. So I can feel, well, you probably can't tell, but that sinker, it's on bottom right there. So I'm just gonna reel down a little bit further, raise it up, set it in the rod holder. So now we know our bait is there just off the bottom, and as we move along, we will raise and lower our baits as needed to keep them off bottom. What I don't want is as we drift down through here for our baits to be dragging along the bottom. Oftentimes you will see me dragging on video, but that's a different technique. That's a different sinker, and we have a float right above our bait so that our actual bait itself, it's not dragging on bottom, even though the technique is called dragging. So this setup here, suspend fishing, we definitely don't want the bait and the exposed hook point drag along the bottom. That's a recipe for disaster. So we'll raise and lower as needed. But this section of the river, it's pretty consistent in depth down through here until we get down to that river bend. And once it starts to bend, it drops off a little deeper. But let me show you here best I can. And what we're gonna do, I don't know how well you can see any of that. You probably can't see nothing. But basically, we're taking the bottom edge of the ledge here, and I'm gonna reposition us here in just a second to get us closer to this. But we're gonna just work the edge of the ledge all the way down through here as we drift along best we can. Today, they're running one generator at the dam, and we're a long ways away from the dam. So that doesn't equate to much current flow. Really, what's gonna propel us is gonna be the wind. It's blowing a little bit. We've had a weather system move through yesterday. That's why I'm starting out in the afternoon here today. It was real windy this morning. It's supposed to be dying down through the afternoon. It's still blowing a little more than I'd like it to be right now, just for kayak fishing purposes, at least for drift fishing anyway. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna drift down through here with these baits, and boy, I'm telling you, man, we get on them, we're gonna have us a good time. So I'm gonna put y'all here in the chest. Today's video is going to be uncut, unedited. We're rolling with it today. Y'all out here with me on a real fishing trip as I back us up here. I'm gonna try to get us closer to the sledge. But I'm gonna leave this camera going as I'm gonna fish for probably somewhere between 3 and 4 hours probably today. And y'all gonna see it all from right now when I'm dropping baits down to when we roll out of here and everything that happens in between. And hopefully there's gonna be a lot of fish caught in between. And good news is if you're seeing this, it means we got something. Could be blues, could be flatheads. It's hopefully gonna be a mixture of both. And you never know, we might get some surprise catch. That last video, I caught a smallmouth bass. That's fairly good size smallmouth bass too. So you just never know, man, when you're using the light tackle and lighter gear. And that particular day, I was using live shad. I didn't bring the net with me today to get anything live. I went out yesterday and got the shad that's in the cooler there. So they're good and fresh. They're, I don't know, 18 hours old at this point probably. But no live baits for us today. We're going cut bait only. But the last trip out, I launched here in this creek behind me and I went way up. And the first 2 hours of that trip, there really wasn't a lot going on. I think I had that smallmouth and a couple other cats, maybe 3 catfish. And my live baits eventually died off, and so I started using cut bait. And well, guess what? That's when I started catching fish. But I'd also moved downriver here, and I'd got right above this creek here, which is behind me. And that's when we started catching the fish. So I said, I'm gonna start here. We'll make our way on down to that next river bend and see how it goes today, but we're gonna be rocking the cut bait. The other big difference between today's trip and the last video, I won't say it's the last trip because I tried fishing the following day. I come out and thought I had, that next morning, I thought I had a window of time before some rain and storms moved through. I had looked at radar before I left the house. Well, I get out here on the water and I'm fishing. It's like an hour, maybe, somewhere thereabouts. I'd had a couple bites. I caught a flathead. Not a real big one, but I mean, it was a flathead. And it starts sprinkling. And then I hear a crack of thunder. And I pull out radar and I'm like, well, hell far. There goes my window. So I had to make a run for it. And then yesterday, the rain and storms and stuff had moved out yesterday, but we still had a bunch of high winds. And then the winds are kind of blowing on through today. You can see just some high clouds, mostly bluebird skies with just a few high clouds up there now. So we're kind of post-frontal conditions here. But we're gonna see what we can get, man. We got enough action on the second half of the trip the other day to let me know that, one, there's at least some decent sized fish in here because we got a couple of them on this stretch of the river, I mean, and there's some decent numbers of fish because we had not only some fish that we caught, but we had 2 instances on that trip where I would be reeling in one fish and another fish would come up with it, almost like it's trying to steal the bait out of the other one's mouth. So, you know, that tells me, I'm like, okay, them fish, they're here, they're willing to eat, be aggressive and stuff, at least on that day. So we'll see what happens today. But I'm wanting to at least make our way down to that river bend, get down there and where the water depth kind of drops off a little bit. They've waved 6 times, good God. Why does everybody in a pontoon boat want to wave at you for? I ain't trying to socialize out here today. I'm sure they're nice enough folks, they mean well, but it's like, most guys in the bass boat, hell, they don't wave anymore. They just, You barely get a head nod, barely even look your way. Boy, if somebody's in a pontoon, if you get a pontoon boat, it's just understood you're going to be social. You're just going to be the type of person that likes to socialize, and you never see anybody on a pontoon boat by themselves. That one there's only got 2 people, but that's rare. Normally they got 18 people on them things. One of the reasons I like a kayak, aside from the fun you have from kayak fishing, is the fact that this is a 1-seater. There ain't nobody else sitting in this thing with me. What the hell's going on over here? Somebody's walking in the water out there. I think they got their dog and they're walking through the water. Most of the time I'm done off the water by now when all the people come out. I like fishing mornings during these warm months. Granted, we're into September here, but it's still warm, folks. So, we still get the people out. But normally I like fishing in the morning hours, especially weekdays. That way I have the water to myself. But here I am today, it's afternoon, and granted it is a weekday. I'm filming on a weekday, but still, we're into the afternoon here. It's around lunchtime, so there's more people out. I'm gonna see y'all can't see that graph. Hell, I can't see it either. I've got to get a spud, and the wind is kind of blowing out of this creek, so I'm gonna need to turn us into it. That way I can kind of pedal into the wind a little bit, make it easier. But with my glasses on, I can't see that graph either. I mainly use that graph just in situations like this, we're using that graph for depth, so we can raise and lower our baits as need be. And I'm watching that map card so that I kind of keep us on the edge of the ledge. And I'm gonna get us way off that thing. Best I can see it anyway. But I want to work that edge down through here. And when you drift fishing like this, one of the things here's the thing with drift fishing. There's 2 ways to go about it. You can free drift, where we would basically just get out here and let the current just take us willy-nilly. Or you can be more precise with it. Work those contour lines. Work the edges of the ledges. Now, I've done it both ways. In earlier years, when I would drift, all I did was free drift. That's all I would do. I didn't know any better. And I caught fish. I got a good number of fish. I got some decent sized fish, got some big ones occasionally. I caught fish. When I got introduced to the Buck Perry teachings, and for those of you who don't know, Buck Perry, he was kind of the godfather of structure fishing. All the structure fishing terminology that you hear used today by all the fishing professionals, Buck Perry come up with all that. He invented the language, the concepts. He was the original kind of offshore fisherman, if you will. It's kind of one of them things. Nowadays, you see people fishing out offshore structure all the time, humps and ledges and all that. But and of course, Buck Perry was a bass fisherman. But it's kind of, back in them days, everybody was beating the banks. And a lot of times nowadays, bass fishermen still beating the banks. But Buck figured out that a lot of the biggest bass was out on deeper structure. Humps, ledges, points, etc. And he come up with a technique called spoon plugging, designed his own lures to figure out how to target those bass that were out in deeper water, deeper structure. And while Buck was designing his concepts and everything, teaching for bass, what happened is it became something that could be applied to really all fish species, because a fish is a fish is a fish. They all use deep structure. They just use it sometimes in different ways depending on the species. And so anyway, I got introduced to his concepts, started applying it to catfishing. And when I did, oh, we got hit right here. We got hit on our left. There it goes. Oh, he's pulling. He's pulling. Oh, buddy, nice run. I felt him thump it. And then down it goes. Oh, nice run. That's on that head bait. Nice start right there, folks. That'll get the heart rate moving a little bit. I don't think he's going to be a very good fish, though, but he must have just hit it with everything he had. Oh, he's got one with him, too. Did you see that one? Look there. Look there. There's another one. Just come up. I was just talking about how them fish were coming up together, trying to steal the bait out the other one's mouth. The water temp, or the water clarity here is clear enough. We're going to see that happen today if that continues to happen. But it did the other day, and it just done it again. Yeah, he's a larger dink, but boy, he must have hit it with everything he had. Because that drag was peeling, buddy. Man, I love that. That's why I've been... Oh, there goes this one. That one got hit. Something hit that one. Oh, you come here now. I don't want to have to use a net on you. You come here. Come here and behave. Your friend, he was following you all the way up, wasn't he? All right, y'all. A few minutes into the trip, fish number 1. Let's grab another shad out of the box here. Try to get one of the... I've got various sized shad today, from this size here, which is probably what, 4 or 5 inch range, up to probably 8, 9 inch range. We've got a variety of sizes, so we'll just kind of work them in and out today. Nice, few minutes in though. Get a fish pretty quick to start, so let's get another one back down there. We're right here in front of this creek though. And I'm trying to get us over here on that ledge, because as I was saying, when I got started applying the Buck Perry techniques to catfishing, my catches went up. Started catching more fish. I started catching bigger fish more consistently. Everything changed for me. And, you know, that's one of those things. It's like, we could come out here and just free drift down the river, and we're going to catch some fish. So it's hard to make a change sometimes, because what you're doing's working. You're getting positive feedback from it. So it's like, why change it if it works? But once I did make a change and start trying to apply his teachings to what I was doing, man, I started just doing way better. So I rarely free drift anymore, but I still do it sometimes. So when I come out on these trips where I'm doing these unedited videos, which are really, these trips are really geared more toward people who are, those of you who are wanting to come on a real fishing trip, who want to see how things really are, not a highlight video where it's just edited down to the catches. I would assume anyway, most of you are wanting to, you're either really into fishing and you want the real experience, or you're wanting to know, you're wanting to learn how to do various techniques and things that I'm, doing out here. And so I've been very conflicted on these drifting trips and this style of video where we're just leaving the camera rolling. It's like, do I do what I like to do and, you know, follow the contours and try to give you all what I think gives us our best chance of success on any given day? Or do I try to go for the kind of introductory, like get people on the water type thing? Because, I mean, you know, it's way easier to just go drifting down the river willy-nilly. It's cheaper too, because you don't need no map card, or, you know, and you don't have to have a map card. I did it for a long time without a map card, but let's say we don't have the map card. What I'd have to do is constantly be working us up on this ledge, and the depth would start to come up, and then I'd back us up. And as we drift along, I'd creep us up a little closer, and as the depth started to come up, I'd back us off again, just so that I'd have to kind of manually check that we are where we needed to be. This one got hit. There he goes. There he goes. Oh, buddy. That's 2 fish in a row here, right here in front of this creek. This is going to be another one, probably comparable size, though. Not the monster we're after. But it's a nice start and gets the heart rate going. Odds go down. I don't see the friend with that one. That one there, he's a bully. He ain't got no friends. He just crapped in the water right there, too. You see that? He just doo-dooed his pants. That's why he ain't got no friends. Nobody wants to be friends with the kid that doo-doos in the pool. Nobody. Somebody one of us tell this, I don't have the heart to tell him. But somebody needs to let him know, if you keep doo-dooing in the pool, fish, you're never going to have friends. This clear water, you can't even hide it either. We know it was you. There we go. Another dink right there, but he's about to poop again. Look at that. Go wipe your hind end, fish. You're nasty. Look at that. He just crapped again on the way down. Nasty old fish. You can't, these fish today, man, they got no manners, no respect. Well, let me get another one out of here. That one there ate the body section. So we've had a head bait get eat now and a body section all within the first few minutes. Put another body section down. You can see here I don't have a cutting board today. So we're just improvising on the pedal drive lid. Just hooking this thing kind of shallow through the back because it's a small hook and all. Okay. Now let's send it back down. But yeah, it's when you're doing this style of video and I'm trying to get people interested in the sport and trying to make things as easy and simple as possible for people. But at the same time, too, try to give people the knowledge and show you what I'm doing to have the best chance to succeed. I don't always know the best way to go about it. So I probably do need to do some free drifting trips coming up in the future just to show that you can catch fish doing that. And, you know, and listen, when I explain how I'm setting up and why we're doing things, it's because, and, you know, Buck Perry believed this and proved it to be true, that fish will follow along those contours, along those edges, as they make their way up and down river and take kind of predictable paths as they move up to feed. But that's most fish. That's not all fish. Fish could be out here in the middle of the river too on any given day. Like, you know, just because something works most of the time doesn't mean it works all of the time. So you can go free drifting down through here while one of us works the contours, and, you know, the person free drifting on any given day might catch more and bigger fish than the person who is working the edges. But if you run that experiment out over 50 trips or 100 trips, that's when you're going to see the separation. On any given day, one technique or one person might outfish the other, but day in, day out, you keep doing that, and you're going to notice the same thing that I noticed when I started applying the Buck's teachings, was that the more I done it, the more fish I caught, and the more frequently I got big fish. But, you know, one of the things I want to do, at least hope to do with this, is to get more people involved in catfishing, get more people doing this. And I think making it as simple as possible as far as gear. I mean, we're using the light tackle rods today, for instance. All of you out there watching this, if you are into fishing at all, you've got some rods like this. Not this exact model necessarily, but you've got some bass fishing rods. You've got a couple ugly sticks in your closet. You've got, you know, some medium action ugly stick. Maybe it's an off-brand version of an ugly, you know what I mean. Just, you've got a couple fishing poles. Or hell, maybe you got one fishing pole. It don't matter. I'm using two today because I've got two rod holders on this kayak, but you could go out with one rod. That's fine. But it's tackle you already have. Because, I mean, one of the problems today is, and I may have touched on this I can't remember if I talked about this or I was going to talk about this. Everything blends together, folks. This may be a rerun for some of you, but I'll hit the Cliff's Notes version of it hard enough that you get the point in case I didn't talk about it. But if I did talk about it, hopefully it won't run on too long for those of you that have already heard it. But what I think has happened today, and it's a problem in the sport of catfishing, is it's kind of went the way of bass fishing and the way of fly fishing, in that it's kind of become elitist. If you don't have a big 24-foot long Sea Arc boat and 12 rods that are $150 each, you ain't cool. You don't fit in. You know, that's the, there's something splashing right there. That's the culture today. And new people that's getting into the sport, maybe they've seen some videos or they read a story or a social media post, somebody catching big fish, like, man, I want to go do that. That looks fun. And they start researching, like, well, hell, I ain't got $80,000 for a Sea Arc boat. I can't go out and buy 10 rod and reel combos at a couple $100 or more each. And they immediately get turned off. And what I hope to do with these videos, even in the kayak catfishing world, it's kind of become that, right? You look at the guys, you know, all of us in the tournament scene, hell, everybody's got a $3,000 to $5,000 kayak with a $3,000 to $5,000 motor. A lot of these guys running 10 rods, the planer boards and stuff, and it's like somebody brand new getting into this mess. It's like, you know how unappealing that looks to them? Like, people dip their toe in something, they're trying to get into it. They want to start out as simple as possible and kind of work their way up if they really get into it and want to put more money and time into it, you know. And when people see, and look, I'm guilty of this too, man. I've filmed a lot of videos in my Hobie Pro Angler kayak with the motor, and I ain't got the live scope on it currently, but I've had live scope on it. Like, you know, if that's the first video of mine they see, that's very unappealing, I'm sure. But I've also got a lot of videos where I'm in a kayak like this, which is a pedal kayak. I've got a basic cheapo graph there with a I gave $200 for that graph back in 2017 or 18. It's been a long time, 7 or 8 years ago. I got 2 rod holders on here. We're using 2 ugly stick rods today that, you know, substitute any rod you've got in for that. And we're going to catch some fish. We've already caught 2. We're going to catch some more going down through here. So, I mean, that's what I kind of want to show, that you can do this. You can catch fish. You can catch a lot of fish. You can catch big fish. And you can do it without having the $80,000 Sea Arc and 15 rods. If you want to, listen, I'm not talking crap about the people who have that. To each their own, man. It's your life. It's your money. If you're into something, well, hell, go do it. If you want the $80,000 Sea Arc and 15 rods, go get it, man. But for me, as a quote-unquote influencer, it's almost a responsibility, in a sense, to try to show people that you can get into the sport without breaking the bank and without going to the extremes that the people who are hardcore into it are. And listen, I'm going to tell you, in a lot of instances, the person who goes out with the basic setup is going to have a lot better. You know how many fishing guides there are around here? It's got the $80,000 boat, and they're taking their clients out with all these fancy rod and reel combos and all the fancy electronics. You know how many days that I go out and catch more and bigger fish than them in a pedal kayak and 2 rods? Happens all the damn time. I see their Facebook posts, okay? I see the trips that they've went on with their clients. I see when they've posted. I look at the days I've went, and I'm like, well, dominated their ass with 2 rods and a kayak. So just because you've got all that stuff, it don't crown your ass. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just, the gear doesn't make you if you don't know how to use it. You can have some success. Like I said, you can go drifting down the middle of the river here. You're probably not going to get skunked if you cover enough water. If you've got fresh bait that they're eating anyway, and you're putting it near bottom as you drift along, if you cover enough water, you're probably not getting skunked. You're probably going to catch something. Now, did you catch as many fish as you maybe could have on a given day, or as big a fish as you could have? Maybe not. But just going willy-nilly, you can do it, man. So I hope that these videos bring some value, maybe introduce some people to it in as simple a way as possible. And just being real with you, I know I've talked about this in some past videos, but like the trips where I keep things simple, pedal kayak, couple rods, those are always my more memorable trips. Like, you know, it's just, you know, something will happen. I'll hook a big fish. I'll get towed around in one of my smaller kayaks. Those are more memorable trips than me being in my big kayak with the motor and the heavy tackle and, you know, all that. Like, it's just, when you have more fun, that does something in your mind, makes it a memory, makes it more memorable. When you think about, when you pull up in your mind past memories about anything, I don't care if it's fishing or pick the topic, it don't matter. When you think about something though, the first 2 things that come to mind, your worst experiences and your most fun experiences. It's those 2 things. The in-betweens, you got to dig a little deeper for those. But if something was really bad, if it was really traumatic for you, that sits with you. And if something was really fun, really enjoyable, like you just had a blast out doing whatever you did on that particular outing, that sticks with you too. And so my most fun trips are usually in trips where I'm in a smaller kayak. I don't have the hassle of a bunch of gear. And when I think about, man, like pull up trips in my mind, it's almost always that kind of situation. Oh, here we go. We got a situation right here. Oh, and he come free. Y'all lost one. I'll let you all try to grab that rod. Y'all, I've never lost a fish in my life, ever. You just lost the first one. I'll let you reel in. Let's fix our bait back here. I'm just going to rehook it. It's okay, but I'm going to just rehook it and send it back down. No longer than that bait's been down there. It's still good. We got plenty of bait today, though. We're not going to have to be conservative at all. I can switch out baits as frequently as need be. I got plenty. I've been able to get these gizzard shad pretty easily lately. I've had one creek that's really been paying off. It's not only easy and convenient for me to get to, but it's loaded with shad right now, so that's why we've been using shad more. I do need to go. I'd got some skipjack on a recent trip. I need to go back out there and hit that and get us some skipjack too. I went there to Fort Loudon last week, and I'd taken, well, I'm coming to think about it now. I actually think my biggest fish was on a gizzard shad. In fact, I know it was, because I'd got them two big 10+ inch gizzards there last week, and my biggest fish, I'd had that thing on their hole. My biggest fish came on that. That's the problem with memory, folks. It starts to play games with you there a little bit. I was thinking, granted, I've caught a bunch of fish on skipjack through the years, but lately I've just been using gizzard shad more. Skipjack's been tough this year to catch consistently, although I did get some recently. Shad are at least somewhat consistent. You can always catch shad. Now, you may have to hit different creeks. It seems like some creeks will have good populations of thread fins. Others will have good population of gizzards. Typically, I like the gizzard shad when I'm catfishing. They make a little bit bigger bait. They make a thicker bait. The live gizzards do better than live thread fins, I feel like. But the main thing is, I think when to kind of cap off the story here, if you want to get new people into catfishing, you're going to have to make it simple for them to start, simple and economical for them to start. You're going to have to make it fun and give them some success early. And so, for me, I think if I can get people on the water with gear that they already have, so they don't have to buy anything, and teach techniques like this that are simple to do and can be done really anywhere. Now, granted, if you're going to suspend fish, it's better to do it in areas where depth is consistent. You don't want a lot of ups and downs, because you're either going to be dragging bottom and getting snagged, or you're going to be way off the bottom and not catching anything. So it's better to have stretches of river that's consistent in depth. or you're just going to be raising and lowering baits all the time. But this is about as simple, easy, minimal gear as it gets, and it's fun and productive too. It's not the best technique to do all the time. It's not, and I'll be the first to admit that. But it's about the most fun technique to do all the time. In fact, I don't know of any other technique that comes close to it, in my opinion. You've always got the shortest line, so that gives you the biggest takedowns, the most intense fights. You rarely lose any gear because, you know, your baits and rigs are up off the bottom. You're suspended off bottom. So unless you just happen to stumble into a tree or something down there, which happens, but most trips I don't lose any gear. I only lose a handful of rigs to snags per year when I'm suspending baits like this. So versus, you know, if you're anchored down and you're casting baits out on bottom, I lose more. When I'm dragging, granted, the dragging setups I use are pretty snag resistant, but they're not 100%. Nothing is when you're dragging. Like you're going to lose some gear when you're dragging, more so than any other technique. But, you know, I lose more, and you're going to lose more money dragging. Oh, we got thumped. Watch this. Watch this. That rod got thumped. And now it's just kind of slowly swimming off. Watch it. Watch it go down. Watch it. He got it now. Oh, and he let it go. Man, I thought for sure he was hooked when he started to go with it, started to pull some drag. He ripped our bait off the hook. He didn't have the hook. He had the bait and not the hook. Hail far. Grab you another one out of here, folks. You done missed the second fish of the day. I got to get back to grabbing that rod myself, I guess. I've let you all have the last two attempts, and y'all have botched both of them. Y'all'd be embarrassed. Here I have fished my whole life, never lost a fish. Y'all have lost two in a row. Goodness gracious. I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch that other bait out too while I'm at it. Might as well. Been a little while. We'll just reel the other one up and put that head on there. Said we're not going to be conservative today just because I got so much bait. Some days I am conservative when I don't have anything. Oh, we just got that lowered down. Look right here. Well, something had hit it. Oh, something does have. Look at our line there swimming. There we go. And he just come off too. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? He broke us off. Fiddlesticks. That one there broke the hook. Or broke the line, I should say. That's the 15-pound line biting us in the patootie right there. I'm going to give y'all a pass on losing that fish since you've probably had him hooked. Just that happens. I needed to switch out these leaders after the last trip, and I didn't. That's on me. I've got to be more conscientious with this light tackle stuff. I have to be. My heavy rigs with 80-pound leaders, hell, I'll run them things forever. But these, we're going to have to be. So here's these hooks. 3-aught owners. Mosquito hook. I'm going to have to get some more too here, about out. Of the light tackle hooks I've used, I do think, granted we ain't proving it today, but I feel like these are getting better hookups than some of the others that I've tried. I've tried the shiner hooks, which I like those pretty good too. I've tried the wide gap finesse. I've tried some just smaller circle hooks. I like those the least. The smaller circle hooks, I'm just going to reuse this. He snapped that leader clean. This part of it feels pretty good. We'll just have a shorter leader on this one. I'll replace it whenever. Hopefully I'll remember tonight to do that before tomorrow. I'm gonna try to fish tomorrow. But of the hooks I've used for this light tackle, I think right now so far, I'm liking the mosquito hooks the best. Subject to change, of course. Opinions are always willing to change, but for now, let's put another body section on this one. I'm gonna throw this head out too because it ain't very big. I can't believe, boy, that's 3 in a row. 3 bites in a row. Y'all have completely botched it, man. Whether it's fish not hooking up or just taking off with the hook and everything. Y'all better get it together now. We gotta get it together here too on this positioning. The wind is kind of pushing us off. Kind of pushing us off this ledge here. We're getting down here now. And it was actually, I remember, right here on the edge where the land changes, where it goes from kind of yards, people's yards, to the woods right there. Right in here is where we got our biggest fish of the day. That's where I ended the trip the other day. No, I want to go on down. I want to drift on down around this bend. Again, the current ain't doing us no favors out here today, but the wind right now is kind of blowing us downriver, so it's perfect. We're moving a little quicker than I'd like. Oh, so's that fish. Oh, buddy. Now that one's a good one. That one's a good one. Oh, buddy. Oh, y'all. Oh, I love it. I'll tighten up just a smidge. Oh, I gotta close that cooler lid behind me too. Y'all forgot to do that too. He's taking back off, man. Yeah, right in here was where we finished the trip the other day and got on fish. Interesting that right here is where we're getting all this action all of a sudden. Well, I say all that, folks. He didn't turn out to be very big. He's foul hooked. That's why he felt bigger. He's foul hooked. He's hooked in the fin. Lord, I'm gonna have to net this one just because he's all hooked all cattywampus. Get over here. Boy, you had me convinced you was better than you was when you pulling them sideways. They feel a little better, folks. Yeah. You old fish, you. Look at this. Okay, I got hooked right there. You see that? Right there in the side. Goodness gracious. He thumped it. Get out of here. I bet you he come up and either tail smacked it, or he either tail smacked it or he come up and rolled on it. I wonder if them other fish that we missed, that you missed, I wonder if those weren't kind of the same situation. Maybe they had a hook and a fin or something and just pulled it out when they really bolted. Maybe they didn't commit to it with their mouth eating it. Either way, it don't matter. Either way, we had the fun of it. Grab another one here. It's another small one. I'm just gonna take these small ones though and basically just cut the head and the tail off, and that'll be our chunk. I do have some bigger shad in that bag though. We'll get to them down there eventually. I'll just reach back there and grab something, and whatever we get, we get. Oh hell, y'all have got to hook around the transducer cord. Boy, if y'all could, there we go. If y'all could hook a fish as good as you just hook that transducer mount, we would never lose one. All right. I'll drop this down. I got to get us. You can see that wind. It's blowing us downstream, but it's blowing us at an angle downstream. So it's pushing us out toward the middle of the channel here, where I don't necessarily, you know, like I said, we can catch some fish out here, but I feel like our best chance is being, I hope you can see that right along the edge there. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. With the glare, these midday trips, they are the hardest to film electronic screens because of the glare. I'm gonna run us over here kind of quick, just pulling our lines behind us all crazily. I want to get us over here on this ledge because we were getting all them bites, and then of course had the success here the other day, so I don't know what it is really about this area. There's nothing really different about it on the graph. The depth's consistent. There's nothing along bottom that I'm aware of as far as any objects or anything that would hold fish per se. But odd that we got on them here the other day as I was ending the trip. Because I ended the other day about lunchtime, and of course today we're starting about lunchtime. I would have liked to have been out this morning. It just, the wind was going to be, I knew it was going to be dying down through the day, and I'd rather fight the fish than the wind. It's that's the biggest challenge, honestly, of kayak fishing. It's the wind. I don't care what kind of fishing you're doing out of a kayak, catfishing, bass fishing, crappie fishing, whatever. It's always the wind. It's the biggest nuisance. Kayaks just, they get blown around real easily because they're lightweight. Two, they always want to turn into the wind. Whatever direction the wind's blowing, the kayak wants to turn sideways into it. So positioning and boat control gets to be a little bit of a problem. That's why I brought this kayak today again too, because I wanted to bring the Lynx. I love the Lynx, man. That Hobie Lynx, man, that's my favorite kayak to catch fish from, but it gets blown around super easy in the wind. This one, a little bit heavier, sits down in the water a little more, doesn't get blown, still gets blown around, but not like the Lynx does, so. Brought this one again. This is my Old Town Big Water. This is my jack of all trades kayak, as I call it. It's good at everything, but great at nothing. But you can do any type of fishing you want to in it, and it'll get the job done. It would be hard. That would be the thing. I've had people in the past talk to me about that, and be like, Justin, maybe, do we have a bug? Did you see that fly? I don't know if he got on the screen or not. He was on the side of the camera. I got to get this. Hold on. Bear with me a second here, folks. We got to get a battery pack going here, too. There it goes. I had my battery pack plugged in, but it wasn't putting the juice to the camera. I've had people in the past talk about me going on behalf of just kayak catfishermen in general to kayak companies to try to get a kayak made for us. And that's not going to work on a variety of reasons. One, who the hell am I? You know, these kayak companies, they're catering to bass fishermen and saltwater fishermen. I'm not even on their radar. Two, the kayak catfish, oh, here we go. Look right here. That's on the head bait now. Can you see that on the graph? Can you see where he come up right there? He come up and hit it. He thought better of it, I guess. Yep, he thought better of it. Another hit though. We caught that one. Eye in the sky. I caught him on the graph there coming up after it. But, you know, one, these kayak companies, you know, yes, I've got a fairly large YouTube following, a couple 100,000 subscribers now and 60-something million views on my main channel, but I'm not big enough to get the interest of any of these kayak companies that they'll be willing to do anything for me. Two, the kayak catfishing community isn't as big enough as needed to overcome the costs associated with designing a new kayak that would be, I mean, you're going to have to pay your engineers to design it. You're going to have to buy a mold to make it. Then just that whole process of building it, getting all the kinks out of it, and just getting it ready for production. Like, you have to sell a lot of kayaks to be able to overcome those costs and turn a profit. And that's most important for these companies. They got to turn a profit. And these companies, they're not trying to lose money. They're not trying to break even. They're trying to thrive. And the kayak catfishing community, it's just not there. We're just not big enough. Not yet. Maybe someday. But right now, the interest from these kayak companies is bass fishermen, because that's where the bulk of their sales come from, that particular genre, that community. But it's like, let's say a company was interested in me. They were interested in making a kayak for catfishing specifically. What would you do in that situation? Would you make the kayak like the tournament rigs? Or do you make it to where the average person who is into kayak catfishing, something that they would use? Because those are two totally different things. The tournament guys want something that's a miniature boat. They want something wide, super stable, something they can put a motor on the front and the back, put a 360 seat on it, have rod racks on the front and back, be able to carry big bait coolers, big live bait tanks. Like, that's what the tournament guys want. They want basically a miniature boat. Most people who, at least that I talk to, that are just kind of, the casual kayak catfishermen, the people who would make up the bulk of the sales for these companies, they don't want that. They don't want the weight and the expense and the hassle of a miniature boat. They want a kayak that they can catch catfish in. So if a company was to come to me and ask my advice or input or whatever on making a kayak catfishing platform, what do you do? Like, what would I even tell them? Because it's two totally different groups of people. Tournament world versus regular fishermen. And most of the regular fishermen And I consider myself a regular fisherman. Honestly, yeah, I do the tournament scene, but I mean, like this year, I'm fishing 4 tournaments all year. Meanwhile, I'm going to have 150 to 200 trips, just regular trips on the water. So am I really a quote-unquote tournament fisherman, or am I a just regular average fisherman who also fishes a few tournaments a year? You get it there? Like, why do you know, if I could only have one kayak, it wouldn't be my Hobie Pro Angler with the motor and all that you see in my tournament videos. Like, if I was only able to have one, it wouldn't be that one. Because I mean, that's great for fishing the tournaments. Hell, it's great for making YouTube videos because it gives me extra range and speed and all that too. But from a fun perspective, it's because it's so much more stable, it's not as much fun to catch fish out of. And here's the other thing. I'm pretty limited on what I can do with it. Like that Pro Angler, man, Hobie Pro Angler, it's so heavy, especially when you add the motor and batteries and all that crap. Like, I'm not launching that in a small creek. I'm not launching that thing, I'm not surf launching it and going out in the ocean. I'm not taking that down to Florida with me and putting it in them small canals and taking it to the ocean. I'm not doing that. It'd be a pain in the ass with that kind of weight. Like, that kayak's it's great for what it is, being on a larger river like the Tennessee River that I normally fish and some of the other larger bodies of water that we go to for the tournaments. But it ain't a end-all be-all, man, that you're just going to put in anywhere. Like, not by a long shot. I mean, if I could only have one kayak, I would take this one that I'm in today, this Old Town Big Water. Because I can do everything. Like I said, it's a jack of all trades. It's not great at anything, but it's good at everything. Like, I've fished tournaments in this. I actually won that Louisiana tournament last year on Mississippi River in this kayak. I can fish it out here on bigger water like the Tennessee River, and it can handle it if the weather kicks up or boat wake or whatever. I can handle it in this kayak. It's stable enough for me to stand up and throw a cast net in. I can stand up and land big fish if I have to. But it's also light enough weight that, especially if you take the pedal drive out, I can launch it in places where I don't have a boat ramp. I carry this thing on a trailer, but I can drag it down to the water, so if I'm putting it in a little canal or a creek or something, I can do it. I've taken this thing to the ocean. Now, I would rather have the Hobie Lynx down there because it's lighter weight and just a better platform for the ocean, in my opinion. But still, like, I've done it all in this kayak. I can't do it all in my Hobie Pro Angler. And even my Hobie Lynx, like, you know, I can't do it all in it. I can't mount rod holders securely in the Hobie Lynx. It doesn't do good in the wind. If you're out in real choppy conditions, you take a bunch of water over the bow, it's a real wet ride. Like, it's not the perfect kayak either. But this one here, if I could only have one, I would take this. But it's like, you know, if you were designing something, the perfect kayak for a kayak catfisherman, how do you do that? Because we're all so different. The tournament guys, they want the mini boats. If you're fishing, if you're fishing like small, faster flowing rivers with high mud banks, you're going to need something lightweight, something that's transportable, because you're probably going to be putting in and taking out at different locations. You know, if you're somebody that has to cover a lot of water from where you launch to where you fish at, you're going to need something that's more streamlined, you know, something that's a faster hull design. Like, there's just so many factors, because as catfishermen, man, depending on where you're at, the bodies of water that catfish exist is so diverse, from the Great Lakes up there, Lake Erie, Sandusky Bay, to the Tennessee River, to various lakes, and like it's just so diverse. It's hard to design. You can't just take one kayak and say, this is the standard across the board for all catfishermen in all waters. Like it would just be impossible. So that, along with the fact that our community just isn't very big, there's just not enough, there's not going to be enough sales possible to make it worthwhile for a company to take the plunge on the expense. It just ain't gonna happen for us, y'all. As nice as it would be to have my own kayak, because I mean, I could, even though it would be hard to design a kayak for the entire community for the reasons I mentioned, it wouldn't be that hard to design a perfect kayak for me and how I fish 90% of the time. Like, I could totally make a kayak for myself. Well, I thought I was going to drop them baits down, but now we're coming up a little bit, back up to 26 feet now. We dropped off like 27. And then come up a little hill there underwater. It does start dropping off as we get on down here around this bend. But the thing is, it's like, even if I could design the perfect kayak for myself, hell, do I really need to? Because I've got the Hobie Lynx already that I love. And I can take it out on days where, oh, he still got it. I thought he'd let it go. Now he's back on there again. We got us another one here, folks. Oh, and he come off that time. He come off then. But we've had some bad luck today losing fish. Here I was bragging on them dang mosquito hooks, and now we've missed out on several bites. That last piece of bait wasn't very big either, so I don't think you can. Did you see me? I about cut my hand. I was going to take the sheath off the knife, and I've lost the sheath for this knife, so I about sliced my hand. That would have been genius. But yeah, like, if I could design a kayak for me, I don't know that I'd really need to. Because the kayaks I currently have are pretty damn good for what I do. Like, I mean, I've got different kayaks I like for different things, but I'm never doing multiple things on the same day. I mean, with the exception of maybe I make a bait run and then go catfishing or something. That type of thing. But like, I'm not going out here to the Tennessee River and then going to the ocean in the same day, right? Like, so I don't know that I really don't know that I need. It would be nice to see some innovation in the kayak space. I'd like to see lighter weight kayaks, maybe a material. It would be nice to see some different materials other than plastic. I mean, maybe plastic is the end-all be-all. That's how kayaks have been made since kayaks started being made. That dog over there is going crazy. But, I mean, I have to believe that there's some other options available. I mean, Native had that Native Tegris model forever ago, and it was half the weight of plastic. Super expensive at the time, but half the weight of plastic. The kayak, the same, it was a Native Ultimate 12, They had a plastic version, I think was around 60 pounds, and the Tegris model was like 30 pounds. And that was back in the early 2000s. But since then, everything's just been made out of plastic. Now, the inflatable technology has gotten potential. You're seeing more inflatables now than ever before. And those are possibilities. But for catfishing purposes, I've been fearful of the inflatables because of catfish, especially blue cats. Their pectoral fins are so sharp. So you bring let's say you hook a 50, 60 pound blue cat. You get him up in the floor of that inflatable kayak and he starts flopping and thrashing around, and all that weight and them pectoral fins are going straight down into that hole. I mean, it'd be like a knife jabbing into that hole. I just don't think it would hold up well to that. Even a good quality inflatable. Like maybe if there was some compromise, like it was partially inflatable, if that makes sense. Have like a different flooring material on top and then inflatable around the sides maybe. I don't know if that's possible or not. But it would be nice to take some of the kayak models we currently have, make them lighter and more durable, and maybe also give us some new features and more kayak designs versus the mini boats that everything's going to now. I mean, if you're just going to do the tournaments, well, then by all means, get a rig that's going to give you an advantage in the tournaments. But if you want to do a little bit of everything, if you're like me and you enjoy kayak fishing, but also want to fish the tournaments, then you don't necessarily want to be in a tournament rig all the time. And it's tough to describe. Like if you're somebody watching this and you've never been in a kayak before, or maybe you've only been in like maybe like a cheap kayak or something. Maybe you got some in Walmart or Tractor Supply model kayaks in the summer and you take them to the lake for a day or something like that. That's not a real kayak fishing experience, because them things are so uncomfortable and so unstable and all that. But like if you've never been in a kayak before or never been in a real fishing kayak, it's hard to describe the difference. Hold on. We had a bump. I think it was this one. Yeah, it was that one. He's back on it again. He ain't acting like a very big one though, is he? Let's see if he'll come back for it. He may have got our bait. He come up and was rolling around with it. I bet he got our bait. The body section, no he didn't. The body section keeps getting hit. Ain't nothing messing with our head down there. Gotta pedal us forward a little bit here. The wind blew us as I was dropping the bait down. But if you've never been in a fishing kayak, it's hard for me to explain the difference in the experience of a kayak like this versus one that's slightly bigger. Like if you put there he is. Oh, he got it then. He hit it harder then. Let's see if he'll stay buttoned up. I think we're going to keep this one hooked. But he hit the chunk again, though, didn't he? They keep hitting the chunk. The head bait, I don't know why. They ain't messing with that head bait, though. That's another dink, though. Y'all need to find us a better quality fish. I want a dang monster on this light tackle, man. I want us to have the real light tackle experience today and get one that takes 20 minutes to land. Get it out of your system, fish. I know you ain't done flopping around yet. He don't want to open his mouth. He's got that mouth clamped shut, buddy. Let me get hold of you like that then. I'm getting that hook out one way or the other, fish. There we go. All right, well, it's at least we kept that one hooked. Get a little slime off there. I don't know why we can't get the head bait to eat. Ain't that weird? They keep hitting. And we can't even say like, well, maybe they're getting to this bait first, because the head bait, the way we're drifting, the head bait would be getting to the fish. It would be the first bait they would come to as we make our way downriver. So that don't make sense. But hell, if they want chunk, we'll do the chunk. Matters not to me. That's why we give them options. Some days, certain types of baits, certain cuts of baits just work better. It doesn't work out like that all the time, but sometimes it does. Put that line around the rod tip. There we go. But yeah, like, you know, if you just read the specs of these kayaks and you're like, well, one's 36 inches and the other's 40 inches wide, it's hard to understand the difference of the experience of the fight. Like, it's just, a lot of it's hull design, some of it is width, whatnot, but it's just, it's hard to explain, but like when you're in it, you can tell the difference. Like if I catch a 20-pound fish in my Hobie Pro Angler versus the Hobie Lynx versus this one, they all three have a different feel. That fish with the same strength is going to pull down the side of the kayak differently in all of them. And it's just, it's different, man. It's just a different experience in all three. And for me, stability has never been the most important thing in a kayak ever. I want it to be stable enough. I mean, at some point, I gotta stand up and pee. I gotta be able to do that on the water. Oh, had another one right there on that chunk. He tugged on it. But I mean, I've got to be able to stand up and pee. I've got to be able to stand up and throw a cast net. Like, I have to be able to do that to function. But that's all I need. Like, I don't need to be able to stand on my head. I don't need to be able to do cartwheels and thing. Like, it needs to be just stable enough. And the more stable your kayak is, then you're making it bigger, and bigger hull means slower speeds usually, unless you pack on a motor. And then even if you do put on a motor, the motor's going to be slower on that versus a more sleeker hull design. And personally, I'd like to not use a motor as much as possible. When we're out here just going on drift, why not pedal? The exercise is good for you. And if you've got a kayak that's a kind of a sleeker hull design, then it's going to pedal good. It's going to be fast enough. You can launch your kayak, go to where you want to fish, make it back, and it not be just incredibly taxing on your body. Now today will be a little bit different for me because we started fishing. I launched in that creek up there. I launched in the back of the creek that we were fishing in front of when we started the trip. And so it's not a super long creek, but we're drifting down. And so by the time we finish up today, I'm going to have a pretty good haul to get back to the car. But that's okay. I mean, better case scenario would be you launch your kayak, make a run upriver, drift back to the car. But depending on where you're launching at, that may not always be possible. I mean, you may not have enough launch sites. I'm fortunate where I'm at. We've got quite a few launches. There's only a few sections of the river in my area that I just can't access. They're just out of range for me. For the most part, though, I can go most of the places I want to go. But you get down places like Louisiana. We had our tournament there last year, and our tournament was held at the Norco area. Oh, our head finally got eaten. There it goes. Oh, he's up under us. Oh, and he come off. Let's hook this thing different. First off, let's go ahead and switch it out. Oh, I think we got one on this one. Look at it go. Look at, oh, there it goes. There it goes. We just got hit on the other one. He said, well, if I can't get that bait, I'll just come get this one. We lost him on the other one. Now this one's, hopefully we'll stay hooked. We've lost a bunch of fish today. And I don't have a good explanation as to why. I don't know if it's the hooks. These baits we're using is not very big. It's hard to think that, well, maybe they're just getting part of the bait and not the hook too. I don't have a good explanation. You know what, fish? You sit there. You just sit there and tire yourself out. I'm gonna get another, there he goes again. He's making another run. I'm gonna get one of these other baits out of here and get it dropped down while he tires himself out. You know what I think I'm gonna do on this next head? Since we've had such a hard time getting that head bait eaten, I think I'm gonna hook this one different. Instead of hooking it up under the gills and out a nostril like I normally do, I'm gonna hook this one like I've been hooking the chunks, just through the back. That way maybe when it's sitting down there, it's sitting there at a more natural position maybe. I don't know if that'll make a difference or not, but we'll try it. Got nothing to lose. We're just out here experimenting. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do too. Hell, I don't know. They come up and feel a little resistance and immediately let go. This water is clear. We're on a sunny day. It's very possible they're seeing the shadow of the kayak and are kind of being put off by that. This is my least favorite time of day to suspend fish for that very reason. Unless it's like a cloudy or foggy day. I don't like the shadow, especially in the shallower water like this. I mean, 20-something feet, as clear as this water is, I guarantee you our shadow is, they're seeing it on the kayak. Oh, he's hooked. This one here's hooked on the side of the face. Get out of here, you old ornery devil. He's mad, wasn't he? Well, we got this rest of this bait here. I just put that head on. Let's just go ahead and drop it down. Hell, if nothing else, it's another bite, man. The good thing about catching dinks on the lighter tackle is they're a lot of fun to catch. On the heavier gear that I normally use, you know, my Signature Series rod, it's made for trophy catfish. And it's great for trophy catfish. I've caught a bunch of them on it. But when you've got fish like this, that's 5 pounds or less, let's say, it's, you know, it's not as much fun. They can't bend the rod as hard. The fights aren't as long. And granted, these fights here haven't been super long today either. But the lighter line, we got to use a looser drag. They get to pull more, you know, you get that rod doubling over, you get the drag stripping. Like, that's fun, man. And we can do that with these smaller fish on this tackle. But if we'd been out here using heavier gear and maybe bigger baits, I don't even know if we'd have a fish yet. Maybe we would. But maybe we wouldn't too. You know what I mean? Like, we might still be skunked. We might have had a bunch of nips at our baits. That happens a lot. Situations kind of like we've had, you know, where we've had some of these fish that just let go. Like if you're using bigger baits, they'll still come up and hit it. Your rod will go down, you know, they'll be nipping stuff. They'll just chew your baits to shreds, but they won't be able to get all of the bait and the hook and everything. At least with the smaller hooks and whatnot, and the smaller baits, you've got a better chance at fish like that we've been catching. And you can still hook into a big fish. One of my biggest fish recently, on video, it was caught on a threadfin shad, like 3 or 4 inches. I think that's the biggest fish I've caught in recent videos. So, you know, it don't always take a big bait. It's just getting it in front of the big fish. That's most important. And that's why I like following Buck's teachings about following the contours and working the break lines. That's what we're doing down there, trying to anyway, as the wind blows us down river and kind of, you know, it keeps it pushing us down, but it's wanting to push us out. I'm just kind of periodically keeping us up on this ledge. Like that's helping try to keep our baits in the path of what I feel is going to be the majority of the fish today that we come across. But I promise you, if we just went down through here willy-nilly down the river, not even looking at that map card, we'd catch some fish. You would. And there's going to be times where even though you're not necessarily following the contours, you're not following along the break lines, as you drift along, you're going to periodically come in contact with them, right? Like it's just how it's going to be. So you're going to kind of coincidentally be in the right place at the right time sometimes as you just free drift. But I just want to keep us, I want to keep us on it as much as possible. I feel like it's just, well, it ain't even a feeling, it's fact. I've just proven it to myself so many times, from fishing how I used to there's pre-Buck Perry, post-Buck Perry. Everything improved after that, man. The biggest thing for me when it comes to technique, it's whether I want to move or not. Because I do a lot of anchor fishing as well. That's really my favorite thing to do, really. Well, I like drifting too. I really like drifting. But I can sit on a spot for hours if I think fish are going to work through. If it's a spot I think fish are going to either be or move through, I can sit on it for a long period of time and wait and ride it out. And I'll still suspend baits, but they'll just be in that fixed position. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot because, that kind of takes, once you're set, you can turn the graph off. You can just kick your feet up and relax. You ain't trying to focus on working a break line as the wind pushes you or boat wake pushes you or nothing like that. You just get yourself anchored on that spot and then you set it and forget it. Baiting and waiting at that point. But that works better for me fall through spring. And we're technically in the fall now, aren't we? I mean, we're in September now. It's still warm. It feels like summer, but I mean, the leaves, like over there, they're just starting to turn. The days are definitely getting shorter. But even though it's, I guess, technically fall, it's not fall to me yet. I mean, football started back, so that kind of signifies fall in my mind. But, like, when I think of fall, I guess I think of cooler temperatures. It's getting dark, really early in the evening again. The days are much shorter. Temperatures are cooler. Water temps are falling. That's what I think of a fall. I start doing better on the anchor bite then. But, I mean, you can catch fish on the anchor bite year-round, and you can catch fish on the move year-round. So, really, a lot of it just comes down to your personal preference. What do you like doing? Because here's the thing, whatever you like doing, if you enjoy it, you're going to do more of it. So, you know, I'd recommend trying a little bit of everything. Try all the different techniques, and whatever you find that you like, do it. Do the hell out of it and figure out how to make it work. Even on times when that maybe it's not that much, because I mean, look, there's a lot of times, you know, I like suspend fishing. There's a lot of times where the suspend bite just ain't there. They want a bait that's on bottom, or they want a bait that's dragging, or, you know, whatever. But I'll still suspend and be content with catching less fish just because it's what I want to do. So find out what you want to do. Figure out what you like and get good at it. You know, like I talked about this kayak being a jack of all trades kayak, right? It does everything good but nothing great. When you take that concept and apply it to fishermen, like actual people, the jack of all trades versus, say, a specialist, who does better? Who catches more fish? Who wins more tournaments? You know, it's kind of, you know, it's funny. I'm sitting here thinking about this as I speak it out loud. I'm thinking about it in my head, and I look at my own, because I mean, suspend fishing is what I do most of the time, right? I mean, you regular viewers, you know, you see my videos. This is what I like to do, whether I'm drifting or trolling or anchoring. I like to suspend baits while I'm doing whatever. It's just what I like to do. But yet, I'm thinking about my tournament victories. And I'm trying to think when I've suspended baits. I'm trying to think back to the tournaments I've cashed in and won. I think most of them have come dragging. I think most of them probably have. Like this year, I won the Nickajack tournament this year, suspending. So put one in that column. I finished second place in the Alabama tournament, dragging. I cashed in the Sandusky tournament. I got fourth place, dragging. We got to drop these baits down real quick. We went off to 29 feet. We're getting down here on this bend now, and we're starting to drop off. Last year, trying to think back to last year, to what tournaments I won and what tournaments I lost. I won Louisiana last year. I was anchoring. My biggest fish came with baits cast out. I was anchoring with cast baits out in Louisiana. I didn't come close to winning at Santee Cooper, but I cashed because I got big fish, and I got that dragging. I won the Hoover tournament. I dragged most of the day, but I won the tournament because at the last hour I anchored down and cast baits out. And I won the Pickwick Wilson tournament in Alabama last year, dragging. The previous year, I think I only won one tournament. I won the Kerr Lake, North Carolina tournament, and I won it dragging. So, I mean, you know, and I've cashed in several other tournaments too, doing, you know, it's kind of, I mean, I consider myself mostly a suspend fisherman, but I guess I'm kind of a jack of all trades because I can do a little bit of everything. I guess, you know, in tournaments you kind of have to be adaptable to the situation, I guess, but if you're going to do well consistently. But if you're a specialist, like if you're really good at one technique, and you're in a tournament where things kind of line up for that technique to really shine, you're going to dominate. And you see that a lot in the, or I was kind of going with it, I guess, in my mind, was you see it in the bass fishing world some, where, let's say you got somebody who's really good at flipping a jig, and they go to a body of water at a time of year where that bite is just, that's what it's going to take to win. Well, you get somebody who's really good at that, going against somebody who's just kind of okay at it, that just do it because they have to, not because they really love it and want to. That person who's good at it and loves it is going to dominate. So, you know, if you're not interested in tournaments at all, if you're even a more serious fisherman that's just not competing for money, you just go out and do what you love to do. Well, hell, just go out and fish in the manner that you like doing. Because, I mean, there's been a lot of days where I've been out, say I've been out dragging, and I've caught more fish, but I would have rather have caught less fish and caught them suspending. Because, I mean, that's what I'd rather do. So, I mean, if you're not in a tournament, in a situation where, like, you have to go out on this day during these hours and try to catch fish to compete and win, hell, just do what you want, man. But you got to figure out what it is that you want to do. And that's not just true in fishing, that's true in life. You got to figure out what trips your trigger, what brings you the most joy, and just try to do it, man. Try to live, try to do what makes you happy as much as you possibly can. That's not just fishing advice, that's advice for life, folks. I don't have a lot of good advice to offer on much, but, you know, I ain't gonna get all doom and gloom talking about the fact we're all gonna die, but we are all gonna die. Our time in this life is finite, and every day we're one day closer to the end. So when you figure out what it is that you really enjoy doing, and a lot of times it takes a long time to figure that out, but when you do figure it out, man, don't waste your life away. Don't spend your whole week looking forward to the one day you have on the weekend, man. Try to do whatever it is you love doing as much as you possibly can. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. I mean, when you talk to people who are at the end, and, you know, of course, my real job before YouTube took off, I was a nurse. I worked ER. And so oftentimes, I mean, I've not only been there a lot when people, I've watched a lot of people die in my career, unfortunately, just part of the job, but you also meet a lot of people in the ER who are dealing with some debilitating illness or lingering effects from an injury of some kind, and so they make frequent visits to the ER, right? Like, it happens. You get somebody with cancer, and, you know, they're having uncontrollable pain one day, they come to the ER. They get chemo and their immune system's beaten down, and then they come to the ER, they got pneumonia. Like, you see these people over and over again as they're fighting their battles with these illnesses and stuff. And so, you know, you kind of, you talk to them and you get to know them a little bit, and you try to, what I always tried to do talking to people was try to get to know the human, the person, not just the disease. Oftentimes, I think what happens is when a person gets that diagnosis, that say, just, we'll say cancer, for instance, because that's no matter who you are, where you live, we all know somebody cancer has affected us all. Even if you personally haven't had cancer, you've had a family member, a friend, a child, somebody you know. Oh, what we got going on here? What we got going on here? We got a snag. Y'all got snagged up over there. Here we've been talking how I never lose any gear. You let the depth come up here. We got us snagged. What'd you do that for? You making me out to be a liar now. I was talking about how I never break off. It's a spin fishing. Unfortunately, I can't get too rough with this 15-pound line or we're gonna really break off. There it comes. Crisis averted, we got it. Let's see if our hook's bent though. Is our hook bent or is our line tore up? Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, let's send it back down. Got lucky. Well, no, like I was saying, I'll just use cancer as an example because we all know somebody, whether it's affected you personally or not. Everybody knows somebody that's had cancer at this point. It's so prevalent in our society. Like, you got a friend, a family, a coworker, somebody who's went through it and dealt with it. And, oh my gosh, we just dropped it down. And he come off. We have had such bad luck today. I don't understand it. Unless they're just really small fish and not getting... It's hard to imagine being so small they can't get the whole bait and the hook too, though. That's some really bad luck, though, with that. He's back on it again. Or did I imagine that? Maybe I imagined that. I thought he'd hit it again. But, I'm never going to get the story out. When you get or when a person gets a disease like cancer, what oftentimes happens is it becomes their identity. It consumes their whole life. Everything revolves around the cancer. It's going to your treatments and how you feel, because hell, oftentimes the cancer treatment is worse than the cancer itself as far as how it makes the person feel and what it does to their body and their lives and etc. But the whole life of the person just becomes about the disease. It consumes them. And so I always, when I would have one of these people in the ER who has been in the trenches with it, man, they've been dealing with it for a while, I always try to ask questions, and of course ER, I never had a lot of time. You don't have a lot of free time in the ER to just chit chat with people. Like, you gotta get shit done and you're always busy. But like when you do have a moment and you can talk with people, like try to get to know the human. All the questions when they come in, it's about the disease, the symptoms, what they're going through, but like, who is the person? Who is the person beside, oh, I gotta drop this one back down too. I reeled it up when we went to get the snag undone, forgot to lower it back down. But I always tried to get to know the person. And when you do that and you conversate a little bit, it inevitably goes to, the conversation always seems to go to regrets. What they regret, like, or what they would do. Like if they had their health back, this is what they would go do. Or they used to love doing whatever. They wish they could go do it one more time, but now they just can't. You know what they never say? They're like, well, I wish I could just go to that job I hated one more day, I wish I could make a little bit more money. I wish they never say that. It's always something family related or something about their kids or some hobby or something they just really love doing. That's what they always miss, man. And so it's like, and I guess I'm fortunate in a sense that I've been able to interact with so many of these people through the years that it kind of keeps me grounded a little bit, just periodically reflecting on it and thinking about it, to just kind of bring myself back down, you know, when I get too into my own head, I guess. To kind of think about, okay, Justin, whatever problem or situation I'm dealing with in my mind, like, does it really matter? In the grand scheme of things, is this really important? Or should you let that go and focus on whatever it is that's going to change your mood or make you happy or whatever? Because, I mean, all I got to do is think about some of them people, and you know, us humans, I mean, we're all different, but we're all the same when you get down to it. The personality-wise, we're all different. Everybody's their own individual. But just human beings in general, we all have the same basic needs, the same, you know, there's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like we're all on that scale, man. And I don't know when I'm going to get to the finish line. Hopefully I'm many, many, many miles away from it. But when I get there, I don't want to look back and have a lot of wishes. Like, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. I don't want to have those regrets. And unfortunately, most of the people I've met that I've been able to interact with a little bit, they've all had regrets, things they would have done different. And listen, you know, nobody makes it through life pitching a perfect game. Every one of us has got things that we'd have done different. You see people like this, man, it pisses me off. I can't stand them. You'll see them on social media like, I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger, but I wouldn't change anything because it all led me to where I am today. I am the person I became today because of the mistakes I made, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't change anything. I call BS on that. Man, there's a bunch of things I'd change. A bunch of things. If I could go back in time with the knowledge I have now and have a chat with my younger self, you bet your ass there'd be a bunch of things I'd change. Hell, I'd have done hit the lottery 14 times by now. I'd be rich. Man, the world would be my oyster. There's some women I've dated in the past I wouldn't have got within 10 feet of had I known what was the trouble that was going to be coming to me. Like, there's all kinds of stuff I'd change. Now, am I who I am today because of situations I've gotten into? Did I just get snagged again? Hell, I did. There it comes. I come up on that ledge. I wasn't paying attention. Y'all got to holler now. We lost our bait then too because of that. But I mean, hell, I'd change a bunch of stuff, buddy. And I don't think it would make me maybe it would make me a different person if I could go back and change some stuff. But I don't know that it would make me worse. Like everybody talks like they're the perfect version of themselves because of whatever they've went through and it's made them who they are. I don't necessarily know that to be true. If I could have avoided a lot of the stuff stupid stuff I've done, mistakes and whatnot, and spent more time or got to the good things, the good parts of life a little quicker, hell, ain't no telling how much better off I'd be. So I'd change a lot of stuff. And I think most people, all them people that say that kind of thing, they're liars. Because if they were really in a situation where they were back in time and their older self, with the knowledge they currently have, and they're watching a video screen of their younger self in some situation that didn't go right for them, and they have a choice to sit there and relive that or push a button and change it to the way things should have gone had they made the correct decision. Every damn one of them's going to hit the button to change it to the correct decision. Every one of them is. So I don't like people that lie, and I think people like that say things like that, they're either lying to me or they're lying to themselves. And either way, they're a liar. Because we all got regrets. We all got things we wish we had a do-over on. That's just life. Again, nobody is pitching a perfect game in the game of life. We all screw up, make mistakes, things happen, life happens. But when life happens to me, next time, I don't want to have the regrets, think, boy, I wish I'd spent more time doing this, or more time doing that, or hadn't focused on this, or whatever, I want to try to do what I love to do and what I want to do as much as I possibly can. And I guess I'm fortunate. Of course I'm fortunate from being able to do what I love to do for a living now. It allows me to come out and, because I love to fish, and I get to do this all the time now because it's become a job for me, crazy as that is. So of course I'm fortunate from that, but I'm also fortunate from the standpoint that what I love to do, it doesn't cost a lot. Like, I've got a lot of money in fishing gear and stuff, but those are set expenses and they're done. Like my day-to-day now, like coming out here today, the only expense I have today is just my fuel coming out here. And I drove my car today with this kayak on the trailer, so it's 35 miles to the gallon, and I'm fishing, I don't know, maybe a 20-mile round trip from my house. Like, this is a fairly close to my place to my house that I'm at today. So $3 maybe in gas at the most. Like, that's how much my trip today cost, $3. Now, look, you could take the kayak and the rods and everything and average it out if you want to. And if you do that, of course, then today's trip's going to be a little more. But, all this stuff, now that all this crap's paid for, like, it just, your day-to-day don't cost very much. $3 in gas. That's how much I'm going to spend on today's trip. If I go fishing tomorrow, again, same thing, a few dollars in gas, because everything's paid for. So I'm fortunate from that aspect, because, if I had some, I'm trying to think of something. Let's say I was super into golf. Well, every time you go golfing, you buy your clubs one time. But then every time you go golfing, you've got to spend however much it costs to go play. So a hobby like that's certainly more expensive and therefore requires a different lifestyle. My lifestyle's really cheap. Really cheap, comparatively speaking to a lot of my friends. I have a small house, so electric bill's cheap, water bill's cheap, property taxes cheap, homeowner's insurance, like everything, because my house is small, there's a trickle-down effect on the expenses. Not only was it cheaper to buy because it was a smaller house, and I bought it before everybody moved here, when Tennessee became the place to be and drove all the real estate prices up. But the smaller house means less electric bill, less property taxes, less homeowners insurance. Just like driving a smaller car. Now granted, I did get a truck last year, but I still have my car. But when I drove my car all the time, when it was just the only vehicle I had, the car, cheaper to buy, cheaper to insure, cheaper to fuel, maintenance is cheaper. Like there's a trickle-down effect. Like if I was somebody who was into catfishing like I am now, but if I was somebody who wanted the big Sea Arc boat, $80,000 boat or something, well, you've got the expense of the boat itself. You're going to have more insurance because, you know, the big boat like that's you're going to need it, you're going to want it. You're going to have fuel that you got to put in the boat and the motor. You're going to have maintenance on the motor. It's going to take more expenses in rigging the boat, rod holders and all that. Then, how are you going to tow that boat? You ain't towing it with a small compact car, like you're going to have a tow vehicle. It's going to be more expense, more insurance, more fuel, more maintenance, or more money in maintenance, I should say. And it's like the more extravagant your lifestyle, the more money it takes to sustain it, and therefore that cuts into your freedom a little bit. I'm gonna lower these baits down again. Dropping off here 29 feet again. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm very fortunate in that what I like to do is cheap. Not only as far as my upfront expenses, because kayak fishing is certainly cheaper than fishing out of a boat, but it's also the day-to-day part that's cheaper. So I'm fortunate from that aspect. Now, I do still have the action figure problem. I'm still going through the midlife crisis, man. I've talked to you all about this over the last year in these unedited videos where we just talk about life while we fish. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm going through it, I guess. You hit my 40s and start longing for the days of my youth. And when I think about my youth, action figures played a big part of it. G.I. Joes, wrestling figures, Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, He-Man. Like, that was my childhood, man. We got a thump. Come on, bury it. Bury it. He didn't bury it. He's back on it again, though. He's swimming. Reach down there and jerk that rod, would you? He pulled it out of his mouth. He was swimming up in the water behind us. We've had a hard time today keeping these fish hooked. I'm losing confidence in them mosquito hooks by the second. I may even try a smaller hook too. I bought some that are smaller. I just ain't been using them. Let me pull them out here. That's the 3-ounce. Here's them finesse wide gaps. I've tried them. I didn't really like them. Where's them others at? I got more. The shiner hooks. We had pretty good success with those. There they are. These are number 1 size mosquito hooks. Probably need to try some of those. I need to put some of those on. If we retie again, I'm going to put on one of those. Got a few different options. But yeah, I've been, over the last year, I guess having a midlife crisis, and I got into toys again. And I've been buying some. the wrestling figures, the G.I. Joes. Thankfully, the G.I. Joes, the new ones, the G.I. Joe Classified, some of them have quality control issues, like they're not particularly good quality, and that's helped deter me from buying as many. Instead of buying all of them, I'm only buying certain ones of them, thankfully. But them wrestling figures, oh, I got a problem. I mean, I'm into them, man. So that's been extra money that I wouldn't normally spend. I'm going to turn into the wind here for a second here, folks. The wind has got us moving a mile an hour. It's just too fast. I don't mind drifting a mile an hour if the current's going a mile an hour, but I don't want to be moving a mile an hour when the current's barely moving. The way the wind's hitting us right now, it's just perfect to get us going too fast. But yeah, man, I've been, them WWE Superstars figures, the one that looks like He-Man, they're Walmart exclusives. I've been really into those. I'm thinking, though, I'm getting ripped off. I bought the Powertown version. I pre-ordered them. I've talked about this in other videos, the ongoing saga of how you can't get the damn things. I pre-ordered them in November. They were supposed to ship in January. They didn't. In March, they said they'd be shipping soon. What does that mean? Then, I think it was June, they were supposed to be out in July. We were supposed to get them. It's now September. There hasn't been any further updates. Meanwhile, Jim Cornette, I listen to Jim Cornette. He's an old wrestling manager, but he's got a podcast now, and there's a lot of people, it ain't just me that's pissed off at Powertown. Like, there's a lot of people, they've taken the money. Something got hit. Did I imagine that? One of these rods got hit. I guess I imagined it. But, it ain't just me. Like, a lot of people have pre-ordered these things. And I only pre-ordered 4 figures. The Rock and Roll Express, and then there was another 2-pack, had Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard. I only wanted the Tully Blanchard, but you couldn't buy the individual figure. You had to do the 2-pack. So I did 4 figures. That one got hit. There we go. There we go. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Oh, I love it. I love it. You could be sitting here, nothing going on, and then boom, it's off to the races. I love it. That's another one, though, I don't think is going to end up being very big. I think he's got potential to be bigger than any of the others we've caught so far, but I don't think he's going to be not the monster we'd like. Yeah, he's comparable to the other ones there. Larger dink. It's another bite, though. We're going to end up today, having, I'm probably going to fish another hour. Oh, this one now got hit. This one got thumped. There it goes. Let's set this one back. That one, let's pick up on this one. Oh, we've lost it, too. Dadgummit. Well, we've dropped off to 31 feet of water here. We've suddenly got on some fish, even though y'all lost another one over there. I was bragging on these mosquito hooks, and now I've about lost all confidence in them. Come over here. Let's get hold of this one. Let's get him going. This one ate the chunk as well. The chunk has definitely outperformed the head today, that's for certain. Come here. All right. Give me that hook back, fish. There you go. You got it all wrapped around your tail and stuff. What have you done? Get that. Oh, he's got himself lassoed. There he goes. Get out of here. There, goodness. All right. Let's grab another bait. Let me find a most of the shad are the size I've been using. I guess we'll just get another one of those. I was thinking maybe we'll get one of the bigger ones. I could dig down in that bag and I find it, but hell, if we can't get them to eat the whole bait and the hook on the small ones, I don't know that using the bigger bait's necessarily the smart play right now. I'm gonna switch out that head over there on the other one, if it's still on. It may have got ripped off. Well, we've just had a hard time. If we had caught every fish that we've hooked into today, or that has bitten today, their line's a little roughed up right there. We'd be having a really great day for numbers of fish today, but we just ain't been able to keep them buttoned. Here, hold on a second. We're drifting up on this ledge here. I gotta get us off before we drop this down. There we go. All right, as soon as the kayak settles, wind's playing havoc on us, folks. It's blowing us every which way but the way we want. At least it's going downstream. We ain't been having to fight that all day. All right, now let's lower this down. Okay, now let's check this one. Yeah, it's still on there. I'll go ahead and switch it out just since we got this other one over here. Hooking them in the back didn't seem to do us any favors, so I'm going to go back up under the gills on this one, just like that. We'll have to back us off again as soon as I get this down there. We'll turn us this way now, that way we can more easily work off this side. There we go. But yeah, so Jim Cornette, he's still in the wrestling industry. He's got a podcast, talks about the current wrestling matches, and he tells stories of the old days. Well, the other day, I'd watched a clip, or listened to a clip, where he was talking about the Powertown situation. Because a lot of people are on the forums and Twitter and social media and stuff that he's on, and they're all complaining because some of them have bought, I only bought them 4 figures or pre-ordered them, but some of them pre-ordered all of them. And so they're out for, I know Kyle Peterson, he's a channel I watch on YouTube, he's out for over $1,000. And really at this point, we have no hope of ever getting these figures. So I'm beginning to think like we're just out the money. And so Jim Cornette was talking about how Greg Gagne, he's one of the guys who's there's a handful of people running this company, and Greg Gagne is one of them. And he was talking about how Greg Gagne had called him up to try to get him to be part of it and let him make the figures and stuff. And Jim Cornette was telling him about how he's got a deal to make his own wrestling figures. And he does. If you get on Jim Cornette's website, he's got his figures and the Midnight Express. And Jim Cornette basically cuts out the middleman. Like, you've got the manufacturer, you've got the company, like Powertown, and then you've got the customer. Well, Jim Cornette just kind of took out the middleman there, if you will. And it's better prices for the consumer, and it's more money in the pocket of the people whose name, image, likeness, all that is on the figure, right? It's better for everybody. And he was kind of explaining the situation, how Greg Gagne had called him and was trying to sell him on this idea. And he basically told him, like, your business is going to fail. Like, there's no way this is going to work out. And Jim Cornette was saying that was like 2 years ago he had talked to him. And of course, here we are now in this situation where money's been tied up damn near a year, and all we get is the runaround, and we don't even get the runaround very often. We get an update. You know, they'll say in November that they're shipping in January, and then in March they'll say shipping soon, and then in June they'll say, well, we'll have them in July. It's like, you don't even get an update that often. It's like you'll be beyond when the new date you were going to be supposed to receive it. It'll be a month or two past that. Then you get a new update pushing you off even further. The last thing they were blaming it on was the tariff prices or whatever. And it's like, well, if you had shipped them in January like you originally said you were going to, you didn't have the increased tariffs then. Like that wasn't even a thing in January. So, like those costs shouldn't be passed on to us. Like that's the company's fault for the delay. So if we get them at all, I feel like that's what's going to happen. They're going to come back and try to hit us up for more money. But some people think they're going to end up on like the AliExpresses of the world, you know, these cheap discount places, because that's where Powertown's t-shirts are. They're on that AliExpress site. Some of them have been. And it's speculated that Powertown couldn't pay the bill, and the manufacturer, instead of just storing that stuff as like left rod got hit. It stood straight up. Something's got it and come up. I'm going to pick up on this rod and I'm going to just reel down. And he come right off. Boy, we've been snake bitten today, folks. This has been a terrible day for missing fish, and I don't have a good excuse as to why. I really don't. I was having pretty good success with these hooks, or so I thought. I don't really think it's the hooks. I think maybe it's just, maybe they're short striking it. We are kind of post-frontal here. I mean, they're awful active. We've had a lot of bites. For me to say that they're just all short striking it because of this frontal system that went through, I don't know that that can be the case when we're getting so many bites. I don't have a good explanation, folks. I don't. I can blame you all for the first couple of missed fish, but when it's happened 86 times now, I'm at a loss with it. I don't really know what to say about it. So anyway, Powertown, man. I probably shouldn't have ordered them figures, but I really wanted them Rock and Roll Express figures. I really did. And I'm going to keep an eye out on the AliExpresses of the world and see if they end up there, because I might still end up being able to get them, but I'm just going to have to buy them again on there. But I'll tell you this, like Powertown sell them t-shirts $30, $40. But on AliExpress, they're like $5. So them figures might be super cheap when they hit the AliExpresses. I understand the concept of doing a pre-order. Not only just for toys, but for other stuff too. What these companies do, I understand it, but I don't like it. But what companies will do, instead of going out and securing financing where they're going to pay an interest charge or dipping into their own cash reserves, what they'll do is they will hype up a product and do a pre-order for it. And everybody who pre-orders, they kind of finance that product for the company. Because the company takes the money they get on pre-orders and then pays the manufacturer to make the product. And again, I get it from a business perspective. I get it because you can either have your customers finance the product with no interest charges, or you can go to a lender and pay, I don't even know what interest rates run these days, honestly, for business stuff. I don't know. I don't finance anything, so I don't know. But it's not zero, I'll tell you that. So I get why companies do it, but personally as a consumer, I don't like it. Because not just from this situation with Powertown where you've paid out this money and it's been tied up forever and you don't even know if you're going to get the product. Throw that out the window. When I buy something, I want it now. I don't want to have to order something and then wait on it for months or maybe a year in this case. Like, it's silly, man. It's just, if you're wanting to build a loyalty with your customers and give them a good customer service experience, have the product ready to go when it's launched. Or at least launch the product and say, this is the date we have it in stock ready to go. Don't do this pre-order stuff and then drag it out a year. Okay, left rod. I don't have any hope we're going to keep him hooked. I don't have any hope. But we've got him on for now. Come on up here, fish. He ain't gonna be very big. Yeah, see, a fish like this, I mean, this one's, if it's this size and smaller, and they come up and bite the bottom of that bait, it's possible they're not getting the bait in the hook. It's possible, man. I don't know. If we could get us some big fish down through here, it wouldn't matter. They'd just engulf the whole thing. Where's your bigger kinfolk at today? Are they hunkered down in the mud? They may be. I don't know. Well, you wasn't coming free, was you? He was hooked good. All right. But hey, we had a solid hookup at least. Progress, folks. Progress. Let me get one of them heads. Do I still have a head in here? I thought I had a head that I had cut. I guess I don't. Let's just cut another one in. But yeah, I mean, just customer service perspective, like, I don't like the pre-order crap. I don't. And I think most of you are like that too. I mean, we're all impatient, right? You see something you want it now. I don't want to have to wait on it. I definitely don't want to have to pay for it. G.I. Joe does that too. They're, hold on, the wind's pushing us here. I got to pedal forward and get back on top of this line. But G.I. Joe's doing that. Once a year, they have their HasLab thing. Last year, they made the Cobra Rattler, the plane. This year, they're doing the G.I. Joe Snowcat. And it's like $300 and something, and then they take everybody's money, and then a year later, you'll get the dang product. And it's like, that, I kind of give G.I. Joe a little bit of a pass more than some of these companies, and here's why. Because like with the G.I. Joe HasLab, and I know you all, this is tantalizing conversation. You're out here watching a fishing video and you're hearing about damn G.I. Joes right now. But thankfully there's only 3 or 4 of you still watching at this point, and you all are probably nerds like me. But with the G.I. Joe HasLab, when they're making these vehicles and they're taking this money as a pre-order, the money they get Like, let's say you buy that G.I. Joe Snowcat. You and 10,000 other, I don't know how many they had, like, I think it was around 15,000 people pre-ordered. However many pre-orders they get, that's all they're making. If they get 10,000 orders, they're making 10,000 of them things. If they get 15,000 orders, they're doing 15,000 of them, and that's it. So they're basically taking the money up front, and that's all the product they're making. With these wrestling figure companies and other companies that do this crap, they will take the pre-order money, and whoever is the most excited about this product or wants it the most, they pre-order. They just use that money to basically pay for the whole order, and then they keep making the products. It just kind of jump starts. It's like a, a financial boost for them, but it's not like it's a limited number of products. They're not just saying, oh, we're going to take, so much money in pre-orders and that's all the product we're going to make. No, they're going to take that. They're going to take the pre-orders, order a bunch of product, and then they're going to keep selling the product from there on out. So I just don't like that. I want what I want, and I want it now. We live in a society of now. It used to be anyway. Amazon, on the other hand, you pay that Amazon Prime membership fee, used to get you one day and sometimes same day shipping. COVID hits, they cut all that back because they're trying to get the essential items out, right? Well, here we are all this time past COVID. And now I place an order on Amazon and sometimes I wait a week before it'll even ship out. Then you got to wait the time in transit. Makes no damn sense. I'm going to keep paying my Amazon Prime membership fee, but it's only because I want to watch football on Thursday nights. That's the only reason why. The shipping perks ain't that good anymore. Crazy world we live in. There's such amazing perks to being alive right now in this day and time, but at the same time too, it's like, I feel like sometimes we go backwards with technology. Like, I don't know how Amazon's shipping could be better 5 years ago than it is today. Like, how is that possible? And those Amazon delivery drivers, oh my gosh. I don't know how they do at your all's house, but at my house, they're the worst. Like, we've had, like on Amazon Prime Day a while back, I had ordered some stuff. My fiance had ordered some stuff. We had 4 different drivers show up to the house that day. 4. That's like, why couldn't you just have one driver bring everything? Like, wouldn't that be more efficient? Like, I don't understand their process over there. And they send stuff to the wrong address all the time. Now, at least Amazon's consistent. They'll put it at the house next door to me. But still, it happens all the time. And I've talked to them people that do deliver, like when I'm home, and I'm like, look, my house number, it's on my mailbox. I have one of them like green reflective signs at the end of my driveway with the house number. Why does this keep happening? Why does it keep going to the house next door? And every one of them says, oh, I'm changing. I'm making a note here in the system. Well, I don't know. The system must not update because the system still has it going to the house next door. So, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I guess old Jeff Bezos there at Amazon, he's busy trying to go to the moon or somewhere, wherever, Mars, wherever the cool place to go if you're rich these days. Thankfully, I like just going out here on the river on a weekday when there ain't many people. Aside from that one pontoon boat we saw first thing, we've had the place to ourselves since then. You'd think these people over here in these fancy houses across the river, they'd be out enjoying a nice, beautiful day. But I bet you none of them's even home. The only people that's over there is construction workers building the next house. All the other ones, they're busy at their jobs trying to pay for this lifestyle that they can't live because they're too busy working to pay for it. That's the old thing, man. Like, do you want to spend... You can spend all your time making money so that you can have a house on the river, but then, oh, is he on? He's on. It's another tiny one. He's gonna spit it. He's gonna, I knew this one's, when you're using the lighter tackle rods and they hit like that, you know it's a small fish. This is the smallest one of the day right here. The smallest one yet, folks. Goodness gracious. Come here. If fish like this could be what's been hitting our baits and not hooking up. It's possible. Because this one right here is small enough. He could bite down on part of that bait and not get the bait and the hook. Oh, this one here got hooked kind of deep. He's bleeding a little bit. Get out of here, fish. May the odds be ever in your favor. Hold on, let me spin us around here again. That wind is pushing us a little too fast still. As we're going around this river bend, it's pushing us up here when I ain't paying attention like that. Let me get us back over here and I'm gonna put us another bait on there. Yeah, a fish that size could definitely be one of the reasons maybe we have it hooked up, because they could tug on it without getting it. I feel like every time I'm reaching that bag, I keep getting these small shad. I know I've got some bigger ones in there. I know I do. I guess I'll be using them tomorrow at the rate we're going. But it's like, here's what I was trying to get at. Do you want to have the house on the river, but spend all of your time at work paying for the house on the river so that you never actually get to enjoy the house on the river, but you can tell everybody you've got it. You can flex on social media. Or would you rather not have the house on the river, but not have to spend all your time at work paying for your respective house, so therefore you actually get to go out and enjoy time on the river? It's like, what do you... I guess, again, to each their own. I can't tell you how to spend your money or your time, but every time I'm around houses like this, fortunately out here where I'm at today, this section of the river, it's developing. It's the last few years, there's more of this crap popping up, these huge houses and stuff, but for the most part out through here, it's pretty undeveloped. It's nice. But when I do fish places, like if I fish Fort Loudon Reservoir, for instance, it's just huge houses that are millions of dollars as far as the eye can see up and down through there. But you know what you never see when you're fishing around those houses? You never see people outside. The only people you ever see on the river are people who don't actually live on the river. The people who have the houses there, I guess the houses are so nice they just stay inside all the time. But they all have these like well-manicured yards, nice fenced-in yard over here, but there's nobody out there in it. They're not playing in the yard. They're not laying in the yard. They're not, nothing. You don't ever see anybody. Sometimes I wonder, like, am I in a simulation? Like am I the Truman Show or something? I'm in a simulation and they didn't hire enough actors, so nobody actually lives in those houses. They're just kind of props. Like, because you never see anybody. You never see anybody there. Well, you see Mexicans. They're there mowing the yard sometimes. Somebody's got to keep the place up. But, and then it's like, here's the other thing that gets me. You've got that gazillion-dollar house. You've got a yard that's, most of the yards at these gazillion-dollar houses on the river, they ain't big as nothing. The yards ain't as big as the living room inside that house. Why can't they mow their own damn yard? Why are they paying some landscaping crew to come in there and mow when they could get out there with a push mower and do that in 5 minutes? I mean, it would take 5 minutes to mow some of these yards. But yet, their lazy asses won't do it. I guess they can't do it because they ain't home. They live at the job, I guess. Hey, there goes a bald eagle over there. Y'all probably can't see it, though. I can't zoom. A symbol of American freedom. Except it always runs from every little bird that attacks it. I do see a lot of bald eagles out here. I spooked one yesterday when I went out to get those shad. He was up in a tree. I had come out of a creek and was cutting the bank I was close to the bank. And as bald eagle up in the tree, I didn't see him until he flew off. But when he flew, he kind of come down right in front of me. And it was a big one. I'm disappointed today, not with the number of bites we've got. If we had caught every fish that had bitten, we would be doing a good day for numbers. But I'm disappointed with the quality today compared to the other day. I mean, when we finished the trip, the last video there, we got a couple decent fish. Like, I know there's some decent ones here. But they may be buried down in the mud or something after this front come through. Who knows? I'm not going to be coming back here tomorrow, though. I don't know where I'm going to go yet, but I'm going to find somewhere else tomorrow. I'm going to take the shad, whatever shad we've got left today, I'll take those. And I'll probably take a net with me. Maybe try to either get some live bait or get something, even fresher that we can, something that is alive that we can cut immediately. These shad here, I mean, I got them yesterday afternoon, so they're not even 24 hours old yet, but still, I like to use shad within 48 hours. So, like tomorrow when I fish, whatever I have left after tomorrow's trip, I'm going to throw out. And then I'll go reload the following day. Or reload on my way back. Depending on where I go tomorrow, I may be able to throw the net and get some more shad. Or if I'm somewhere that maybe there's a reasonable hope I can get some skipjack, I may take that skipjack rods with me tomorrow too. I don't really have a good idea of what I want to do tomorrow. I was going to just kind of see how things went today. Because if we were catching fish all the way down through here and getting the quality we want, I would just say, well, I'll put in at the next launch downriver from here and come up, and we'll continue our drift on down. Just pick up tomorrow wherever we leave off today, kind of like we did today. I mean, granted, we did hit, I had fished part of that the last time, but I wanted to start today where we had been getting fish at Or we'd started getting fish out on the last trip. You know what I'm trying to say. Which that creek mouth up there, we got bit right away today when we put in there, and that's where we started getting bit at. Well, that's where we started getting our better quality fish at on the last trip. It might be worthwhile to come out and anchor down at that creek mouth. You know, I'm still at that kind of point. I still like being on the move more right now, but you know what? Last week at Fort Loudon, I got on some better fish right there, anchored in that deep hole. Which, I mean, hell, right now, the fact I was catching fish last week 70 feet deep, and then, you know, we're out here this week catching them 20-something feet deep, it shows you right now, like, they're on the move all over. Like, you got a reasonable chance no matter where you're at of getting on some fish right now. But I don't really know where I want to go tomorrow. I don't know what I want to do. I'll dwell on it tonight. I'll think about it while I'm getting my toes done. I think me and the fiance are going to go get our toes done tonight. We got to get them things trimmed up. We like to go to the Asian spa and have that done. I tried getting her to go a couple days ago, but she wasn't prepared. Let me tell you something, fellas. If you're not living with a woman, you may not know this, because this was news to me. I didn't know this until I started living with my fiance. Girls don't tell you this. When you're just dating and you've got separate residences, you're probably not going to be aware of this. I wasn't, but women bathe differently than men do. Like when I go take a shower, I wash everything. Like I wash my whole body, I wash my hair, even though I ain't got much hair left, I wash it. Like everything, my shower process never changes. My shower today is the same as it'll be next week, next month, next year. Everything's the same. With women though, it's different. Women shower differently based on the day. There's regular showers, there's hair wash day, then there's everything showers. A normal shower for them, they're going to wash their body, but they're not going to wash their hair, because women apparently don't wash their hair every day. I still don't have a good excuse as to why they don't, but they don't. My fiance says it ain't good for their hair. It ain't good for you to wash it every day. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm mostly bald-headed. Who knows? But nevertheless, some days they only wash their body. Some days they wash their body and their hair. And other days they wash their body, they wash their hair, and then they shave everything. So the other day when I suggested, well, you know what? My middle toe here, the toenail's curling in on the meat of my toe there. I was like, well, maybe we should go to the Asian spa and get our toes done. She's like, well, I ain't ready. It ain't time for my everything shower yet. And I'm like, well, you just showered last night. Yeah, but I didn't shave my legs. Well, I'm like, well, hey, I don't think these girls at the Asian spa, I don't think they care. But I can't go in there without my legs shaved. So anyway, we have to coordinate our Asian spa toe days around everything showers, where legs and pits and hoo-haws and everything gets the trim, if you know what I mean. But that don't happen every day. It's got to be hard being a woman. Like, there's a lot of stuff a lot of rules, a lot of things I just don't get. Like, I'm a keep it simple kind of guy. When I go shower, it's head to toe. I don't have much hair to wash, but I'm going to wash it and make my way down, you know, until everything's clean. But, yeah. 3 different kinds of showers, fellas, in case you didn't know. Your woman, sometimes body only, sometimes body and hair, sometimes body, hair, and shave. Crazy. Crazy stuff. It's difficult being a woman. And then, too, like, she showers, and then an hour later, before we go to bed, she's back in the bathroom because now she's got to wash her face. She's got all these special chemicals and oils and potions and tonics and snake oils and stuff. You know, all this stuff, these magical potions they put on their face. Like, she has a process, and that'll take 15, 20 minutes just to go through doing all that stuff on the face after she's already washed her face in the shower. Like, I mean, I can't imagine, man. Like, I'm old, so I use bar soap, Zest specifically. I'm zestfully clean. But I use the same soap on my face as I use on my arms and back and butt and everything else. I mean, it's just, you get a bar of soap, man. It's soap. But not all soaps are the same, according to her. You got these special potions you put on your face to clean it, and some of them open up the pores, and some of them's antibacterial so you don't get pimples, and then you got to put other stuff on your face for like sunscreen stuff. Man, it's just, she was putting stuff on there the other morning. She had left before me, was going to her Pilates class. And she's in there putting, I'm like, what are you putting on your face today? She's like, well, this is my sunscreen I'm putting on here now. Which you all know my feelings on the sunscreen. I don't like wearing sunscreen. Conspiracy theorist and all, but she thinks the sun is going to give her wrinkles. So she's got a sunscreen she put on her face. I'm like, it's early. Like, you're going to Pilates class and you're coming back here, right? She's like, yeah. But I'm like, your Pilates class is indoors. Yeah. Well, when the hell is your face going to see the sun? She's like, well, when I go out to the car and while I'm in the car. I'm like, but it's morning. Like, it's not even like it's now here, we're middle of the day and the sun's beating down. Like, it's morning hours. Like, what the hell? Yeah. I'm telling you, fellas, it's a whole different world for women than it is for us men. Whole different world. I don't get it. And she's got a whole, like, we got the bathroom vanity, right? And, you know, my house, it's my house, my bathroom, it's not very big. But there's a little bit of sink space. All around the sink, there's all these potions and tonics, bottles, right? All around there. Now me, I got my toothbrush, the toothpaste, and deodorant. That's the only thing sitting up on the counter that belongs to me. All them other bottles of potions and tonics, that's her stuff. Mostly for her face. Then, and it's a cluttered mess too, let me tell you, it's a cluttered mess up there. Then, beside the vanity, there's another thing, it's 3 shelves. Nothing but potions and tonics on it too. Oh. This fish here is about to have a tonic. Oh, there he goes. We got another one if we can keep him hooked. It's another small one though. Don't write your folks at home, tell them you've caught a big fish because you ain't done it yet. That's a small one. He's on the head bait though. And these head bait bites have not been as frequent as the midsections, but at least he stayed hooked. Come over here, fish, come on. Come over here, you little thing. Old dinkity doodah. We gotta find something bigger than you, man. I'd like to hook into a whopper today, man. And you're more fun to catch on this lighter tackle, but I still want to catch a big one too. I'm getting you. Be patient down there, fish. Don't give me that lip. There you go. You got a bad attitude, don't you, talking to me like that? All right. Well, let's get another one of these shad. Just gonna pull this bag out of here. Let's see what all we got. You can see I got a bunch of shad, but there we go. It's slightly bigger. Most of them's in that range right there. There's a bigger one. A few bigger ones in there. Didn't have any problem getting the shad. We just having problems getting them eat. We'll put another one on right here though. Let's see what we can get. Let's see what we can get with this one. But yeah, man, all these various potions and tonics just to keep your face clean and pores open. And meanwhile, us men, all we need is a bar of Zest soap. One thing can do it all. All right, down it goes. 31 feet here. I don't want to drift down too much further, to be honest with you, because the more we drift down, they must have kicked another generator on at the dam, because right now at this moment, the wind isn't blowing at all, and we're moving a half mile an hour. And I can see the current right there too off that buoy. So they've had to have kicked on another generator at the dam. Oh, we just got hit on that thing too. There it goes. We just got hit on it. All right. We just dropped that head bait down. Can you believe that? It wasn't down there 30 seconds. All right. Another small though. We're still, whenever we leave out of here today, and I don't want to go down too terribly much further, just because it's going to take forever to get back. But whenever we do leave out, we will have caught several fish today, but thus far they've all been this eater size. And just nothing of, the quality ain't been there today. He threw that head bait off too. You could have given us the head bait back, please and thank you, sir. He says, hell no. I'm getting him a souvenir. All right, there's a little bigger one here. Let's see if this will do something for us. A little bit bigger head bait. Yeah. Down it goes. How long have we been at this now? I need to look at this camera if I can. Almost 3 hours. Yeah, we've made quite a bit of progress down through here. I think the way we've drifted, I think the wind is blowing. But I think we've made it far enough around the bend now we're not exposed to it anymore. Because it was coming right down that channel. But as we've drifted around, I think we're just kind of shielded from it here where we're at. We got something all along the bottom right there. I'm curious to see what this is. Is that bait? Is that fish? I don't know what that is. We'll have to back us up a little bit though. We're gonna run up on this ledge. Oh crap, you got hung in it. There it comes. I knew we was about to, I knew we were drifting up on this ledge. We was about to get in it. All right, let's see, I bet we lost our bait. No, we didn't either. All right. Let's send it back down. Now I've put us too far off this ledge. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna check this one. Let's see if this thing, yeah, it's still on there. Send it back down. Yeah, we're gonna end up having a productive day when it's all said and done, just on numbers. And like I said, if we could have landed every fish that we've had bite, my gosh, we'd be really tearing it up. But the quality just hasn't been there yet. Like, we're just struggling to get anything beyond an eater size today. Is it our bait? Is it our size of bait? Is it just, we just ain't been on any good quality fish? I don't know. I really don't have an answer for you. Kind of like I don't have an answer for the number of missed fish. It's just one of those mysteries of the universe that some days you're just going to have days like that. And as far as the size of the hooks and the type of hooks, like that's been a work in progress, because this light tackle stuff's still relatively new to me. I haven't done it a lot, and I don't really know what the best size or type is at this point. That's why I've been trying so many different hooks, because, you know, I've talked before about, like, you've got give in these rods because they're the lighter action. You've got give in the kayak. When I go to lean over to grab a rod, we're taking pressure off the fish. So that's why I think the circle hooks really wasn't working out all that well. I really wasn't getting good hookups at all with the circle hooks. And I think that's why. Just couldn't get enough pressure on them. But these hooks, at least I can pull on them a little bit. So I don't know, we'll get it dialed in eventually. I am surprised though, we had that one line, it looked like it, the one that broke us off, it looked like it snapped halfway up our leader. It was a clean break too, like it just snapped the line. Maybe we had a weak spot in the line, I don't know. I'm gonna try to turn us around again. The wind is now hitting us again. Good news is tomorrow we won't, well, at least the current forecast anyway, the wind ain't supposed to be blowing at all. So we'll have that going for us tomorrow. I'll try to film, but you never know. It's kind of like when I come out a couple days ago, trying to film, I tried to film the next day after the last video there, and knew it was going to rain and storm that morning, but I looked at radar, I did the little fast forward thing ahead, and I'm like, well, hell, I've got a few hours there I can get out. And I'm barely on the water at all, and it starts to rain, and it starts to thunder, and look at radar, and it's practically on top of me. And it's like, you know, you never know what you're dealing with, really, until you get out there. So even though the forecast tomorrow looks okay, until I wake up in the morning and look outside, I really ain't gonna know. But I have every intention of fishing tomorrow, and I have really every intention of fishing every day this week. Because, I mean, we're up against it here, man. This is the last, September's really the last dependable month of good weather in East Tennessee. Warm weather, I should say. You can have good weather, but October, once we get into October, it might be 80 degrees in October. It might be, we might have a snow in October. You never know what you're going to get. Same way up November, December, it could be really nice or it might be freezing cold. But September is more like summer than fall, so got to soak it in, man. We got to enjoy these last warm days while we got them as much as we can. One nice thing about this time of year is you usually get less humidity. So even when it is, like today, it's warm this afternoon here, but it ain't super humid, so it's tolerable. But I'm gonna try to hit it hard this week. I don't know how that'll translate as far as videos go, but we're gonna give it a college try, hopefully get a few. This time of year, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I know it sounds terrible for me to say, but views go off a cliff this time of year. It happens every year. Football starts back, hunting season gets going, kids are back in school. There just ain't a great demand for fishing videos and specifically kayak fishing videos. So I'm not as, during the peak summer months, that's when you make your bread. Something jumped right there beside us. I caught it out the corner of my eye. Somebody's doing this for a living. June, July, August, that's when I'm gonna make the most of my bread. But once we get past Labor Day, get on into the fall and winter, it's like, I want to consistently put out videos. I hope to do so, but if it doesn't work out, no big deal. Because, the views just aren't there this time of year. I mainly do it because I'm out on the water anyway. I don't stop fishing just because the views dry up. So I'm going to be out there and might as well film while I'm out there. But I do have stuff coming up here soon. Got my wedding coming up here in a few weeks. And once in November, I got my Florida trip. We still got to figure out our honeymoon too. We ain't even talked about that lately. Like we're traveling for our wedding, but then we're coming right back home. Like that's not going to be our official honeymoon. We talked about maybe going to Europe, but we do that. We want to do it at the best time to go. Like if that and I don't know when that is. Like I don't know their climate and seasons and stuff. Like I don't know if they're on the same calendar as we are as far as that goes. Like their spring and fall, I don't know. Got to research, do some stuff. But I think we had talked about maybe going to Europe or go somewhere exotic. Somewhere that we'll probably never go again. Like I think that's what we're going to do for our honeymoon, but I don't know when that's going to be yet, and I don't know exactly where. We talked about maybe Italy. That's one of those places me and her both want to go. I'd like to go because, anytime I've ever talked to anybody who's been to Italy, nobody's ever said don't go or it's overrated or anything. Like everybody always raves about it. So I'd like to go there. I wouldn't mind also, too, going somewhere that has whales catfish, like do a trip for that. Because that's one of those things, it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. When will I ever be in a position to ever catch those again outside of a honeymoon, So that would be, if we end up going somewhere like that, that would be a cool thing. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm not much on, I like being other places, but I don't like traveling to get there. Like, I think it would be cool to you go to like, see some of these other cultures, like on the other side of like Australia, for instance, like the land down under, right? Crocodile Dundee. I wouldn't mind experiencing that. But I don't want to spend 20-something hours on a plane to get there either. Now there's a lot, when you go to places on the other side of the globe, like there's a lot of travel that it takes to get there. Lots of travel. So, I don't know. We've got, and I say this, I don't know if it's still true or not. When I went to Texas back in 2022 now, so it's been 3 years. I went in November too, I believe it was. So we're almost at 3 years since I've been there. I'd flown down. That's when I'd done that guided buffalo trip. So I flew down there. And on the flight back, they were trying to get you to sign up for their airline's credit card. And if you signed up, you got enough airline miles right up front. At the time, they said to either have 2 tickets anywhere in the continental United States or 1 ticket to Europe. And I thought, well, hell, just for signing up. So I signed up, I got the points or whatever, and then kept the account open long enough for the cutoff, and then I just closed down the account. I made like 2 or 3 purchases on the card just to use it and activate it or whatever, and then shut the account down. I'm their worst customer, but I still got all them airline points that I never used. So who knows, inflation and all that and everything going up, those airline miles may not be worth as much as they once were, but we still have a bunch of them. So that'll be the biggest part of the expense. I assume if you go somewhere like a Europe, Italy, it's probably the airfare. That would be my guess. I mean, if you itemized all the expenses like plane, hotel, food, all that, I would assume airfare is probably the biggest chunk of the expense. So it's possible we've got a big portion of that just on them free miles for me signing up for that damn card. Y'all, here's the thing, folks. The more we're drifting down here, the farther and farther away I'm getting from the launch. And not only am I going to be going back into the current, which has picked up, but I'm going to be going back into the wind too. I don't know that I want to drift down much further, especially no better than we're doing fishing-wise. I mean, yeah, we've been getting some bites, but it's not the quality I was hoping for today. We're getting eaters today, which again, eaters on this tackle, super fun. Way more fun than on the heavier gear. If we'd been using the heavier gear today, one, I don't think we would have caught nearly as many fish as we have with the smaller hooks. But we definitely wouldn't have had the fun that we've had today. Because, I mean, all of these, even the small ones, like when the rod goes down, you don't know what you got on. When the rod's buried and the line's peeling, you don't have a clue what you got on till you get control of the fish. So it's been fun, but I don't think I want to drift down much further. Because I probably got, at this point, hell, it's probably going to take me close to an hour to get back to the car. So I think I may be wrapping it up. I was only going to fish 3 or 4 hours today anyway, and I think we're over 3 hours now. So I think I'm going to, let me see what time it is here too. You know, I'm curious about that. Yeah, time I get back home and shower, and fiance gets home, it'll be time to get our toes done and all that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits, y'all. Yeah, I don't know where we'll go tomorrow. You know, ideally we'd have just caught big fish all the way down through here, and then tomorrow I'd go down to the next ramp and pedal up to here and pick up and drift down. But I think we'll go somewhere, try somewhere different tomorrow and see if we can't get something on a little bit better quality maybe. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it. I'm gonna reel up here, wrap it up, and call it quits on the day. Go get my toes. I'll have fresh toes tomorrow, y'all. I'm too bougie now, folks. Once you start having somebody else cut your toenails, you can't go back. You just can't go back in time, man. You gotta just roll with it. It's one of those luxury expenses, something that I would have never paid for a few years ago. I would have never done it, but now it's hard to imagine life without it. It's one of those luxuries you get used to. Anyway, y'all, thank you for coming with me today. I'll try to do better in the next one.